This week, today's homeowner is a very different show. We're not just improving a home, we're moving it to a baseball stadium. It's all designed to honor an American icon and Baseball Hall of Famer, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss this one. This week, we're taking on a project that's never been done before.
And it's not the three of us playing baseball. We're moving a Baseball Hall of Famer's childhood home to this stadium to become a baseball museum.
Anytime you move a house, it's a big deal. But what really excites me is we're talking about home run king Hank Aaron's house.
What makes this special to me is that Hank's hometown, Mobile, Alabama, is the place I call home. Henry Louis Aaron was one of 8 children born to Herbert and Estella Aaron. They built this house in the Tolmanville community in 1942, and it has remained in their family since then. Recently, the Aaron family donated the house to the city so that it could become a museum at the minor league ballpark, which bears Hank's name. But first, it has to be moved. All of the work that's taking place right now is to prepare the house to be moved to its new location. One of the first things they had to do is remove all of the brick veneer that was put on at some point in years past, and after that was removed, they found some asbestos siding. And that's not what we really wanted to find, because that required some asbestos removal specialists to come out and make sure that no dust contaminated any of the areas around the house or the neighborhood. So they used a lot of plastic, wet down the asbestos siding as it was being removed, and then encapsulated it in the plastic and another bag in order for it to be disposed of properly. But after all of that's removed, you can really get an idea of kind of the evolution of the house. Now, originally, Hank's house was only 24 by 24, just a little square sitting on the lot. Then at some point in the past, they added an addition on, and then later on, they added another addition to create the house that's here now. Now, all of the work that's taking place is to prepare it for that big move. That is going to be quite a project. In order to clear the trees and the power lines along the route, the roof has to be removed. Some bracing is added to reinforce the structure, and then it's covered to protect it from the elements, and just in time. These massive steel I-beams that are being welded together will be threaded underneath the house to support it. That's not as easy as it sounds. Larry Scalf is the man in charge.
Maybe the weather will work out good for us. We can get this thing moved and make everybody happy, and that's what we're doing it for.
He and his crew have their hands full, especially since this is a volunteer job for them. They positioned a series of jacks under the beams, which are centrally controlled by one hydraulic pump, so they lift the house in unison. The process is slow, but eventually the building is up and off of its foundation. When the jacks reach the end of their travel, more supports called cribbing hold the load while the jacks are raised. This process continues until the structure is high enough to get the massive dollies underneath it. Then the whole assembly is connected to the semi-tractor that'll pull it through town. Even this massive truck needs a little help to get this 30 tons moving. After a bit of jockeying to get it into the narrow street, we started making progress with an army of police and utility workers clearing the way. At tight corners, the house is jacked up again so that the dollies can be repositioned to take a steeper angle and navigate the turn. Occasionally, a street sign has to be persuaded to make a little more room. Then, more jacking and repositioning the dollies for the straightaways. The clearance is tight moving through the neighborhood where Hank grew up, but the route also takes the house by a park that bears his name. Once out of the neighborhood, the pace really picks up. In all, the route from Edward Street to Hank Aaron Stadium is a little over 6 miles and takes about 6 hours before this house arrives at its new home. That's where Alan caught up with it and someone who's very important to the project.
All right, we have seen Hank Aaron's house move from Hank Aaron's old neighborhood. We've passed Hank Aaron Park. We're here at Hank Aaron Stadium. I know what you're thinking. We haven't seen Hank Aaron. Oh, sure we are.
Yeah,
Mr. Hank, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
The house nowhere near what it looked like the first time you saw it.
No, it's originally, I tell you, this is the way the house was originally.
Oh, how do you feel seeing this like this now?
I'm very humble, really. I'm thankful because of the fact that when you start thinking, you said, did my father in 1942, did my brother, did we actually build this? And actually, you know, the house is restored and the house looks pretty good.
So the rumor is true, I've heard this, that you actually had that hammer and you were building this house yourself too.
Yeah, I didn't get any license for it though, but it was me and my brother, you know, the two of us, and my father.
Let's walk down over here, because
Sure.
we've seen a lot of beautiful wood here. I love what I'm seeing here. But now, what I'd like to do is try to maybe help you relive a childhood memory, okay?
Okay.
Because you realize we've got it here, but we've got a lot of work to do on it to get it ready for a grand opening, right?
Right.
Check this out.
Oh, you got a hammer.
I got one for you.
Oh,
You ready?
okay.
Let's go.
Besides a long line of interviews with the media, the real work Hank is here for is digging. At the groundbreaking ceremony, hundreds of fans, friends, and well-wishers turn out to honor him and celebrate the start of this historic project. And the next step in that project is getting out of the parking lot and into position beside the stadium. While Larry and his crew make that happen, let's check out Joe's simple solution this week for your home.
Here in the workshop, we're always looking for ways to utilize every square inch of space. And that's particularly true when we need to store long-handled tools like this push broom. Now here I'm going to be hanging it right in the middle of this wall unit so that the handle aligns with the center stile. This way we can just take it when we need it and it'll be stored right here, not buried in a corner somewhere. Now you can buy metal hooks and special hardware items for hanging long-handled tools, but they're about $3 or $4 a piece. And I was at the home center recently and I saw these. Plastic hooks for hanging pipe, for PVC pipe. These are only about 80 cents a piece. So I thought they might be perfect for this situation. So what I'm gonna do is put them up right about 6 inches from the stile here and hold them in place with a couple of screws. These are 2-inch drywall screws. There you go. And now, I'm gonna be using this for a broom, but you can see this would work great for a rake or shovel. You just hang them in the hooks, and it's ready right there when you need it.
This week we're following a very unique project. This is the childhood home of Baseball Hall of Famer Hank Aaron, and it's sitting in a small little park next to the baseball stadium that bears his name right here in his hometown of Mobile, Alabama. Now the house movers still have all of their steel beams in place, as well as the wood cribbing that's holding it up pretty high up off the ground. Even though it's positioned exactly where it'll end up, there's one very important element that's missing: the foundation. That's the next step in the restoration of Hank's home. In this case, the foundation will be a series of block walls that are built directly under the outer walls and down the middle of the house. The timbers bolted to the top of the block walls will allow it to be fastened to the home's wood floor system. Like Larry and his crew, these guys are volunteers who have pitched in to help honor a hometown legend. The voids in the block wall are there so that the steel beams can be removed once the house is lowered onto the foundation. In the meantime,
Well, that's a fixer-upper if I've ever seen it.
Joe and I decided to take a tour of the inside of the newly relocated house. And you can tell when you move a house, it takes a little toll on it.
A little bit. Got some wall cracks going on. The ceiling's coming down.
Now, the way I understand they're going to lay this out is, of course, very much like it was originally.
Right.
This was originally a front porch, so they're going to remove this part and replace the front porch. That should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then the way they're going to do it is each area of the house is kind of going to be dedicated to a part of, a stage in Hank's life. This first part, I understand, will be all about his early days in Mobile.
Growing up here.
Right. And then in here will be when he first got into baseball in the Negro Leagues, and they'll have some of the memorabilia in here about those days.
Right, so that'll be in probably the late 40s, early 50s we're talking about.
Now,
right?
think about this. The original house ended right here. It was
a whole house.
It was only 24 by 24, 8 kids living here.
That's 8 kids and 2 adults living in a house the size of a 2-car garage.
Exactly, yeah, think about that. And then they built on this section at some point that has the kitchen that'll continue being just a kitchen as a walk-through.
Right.
And then later on, they built another addition like so many families do.
Here.
And be careful in here. This is a kind of shaky, kind of got a blue color in here because of the blue tarp that's trying to keep out as much moisture. But this is going to be the place to be because all of the big trophies and all of the significant memorabilia from Hank's days will be right in this room.
This will be a great room.
Yeah,
I can just imagine when Hank comes through here.
Oh yeah.
The memories must just flood back.
Oh, it's going to be great, and that's going to be so much fun when we get it all completely finished. Hank's going to walk through with us and kind of give us his impressions of how everything turned out. Now, there's 3 other rooms. One will be kind of dedicated to his parents and return to the look they had when they were living here. Another room for minor league memorabilia, and the other one for the major league.
Wow. Well, when Hank comes down to take a look at this house, be sure to give me a call.
Hey, I'll do that.
All right.
Before the structure is ready to house all that memorabilia, there's a lot of work to be done. The first step is getting it settled into its new foundation so that all that work can begin. The enclosed section of the front porch is removed to get the footprint back to the original plan, and then the rebuilding of the roof begins. If Hank and his father had had access to prefab roof trusses 60 years ago, it might have simplified their work on the additions that they built. The outer walls are also getting reinforcement, and the front porch has been returned to the design it had back when the home was built in 1942. The work is continuing on Hank's house, and they're at a really good point right now. The shingles are on, most of the siding is on, so it's nice and dry inside. But as you can see, there's a lot more work to be done before this structure can house all of Hank's memorabilia. And while all of this is taking place, check out this week's Best New Product.
You know, I love the paint aisle because there's so many colors and textures to choose from to really help transform the look of your room. But what if you've inherited a room, say like your kitchen or your bathroom, and you'd love to change the color of, say, like your countertops? Who wouldn't love to change the color of pink countertops? And that's exactly what I used to have. Take a look at this. Rust-Oleum has come out with a countertop coating, and this is a perfect paint coating to go over laminate countertops, whether in your kitchen or in your bathroom. It's easy to apply. All you need to do is just get a smooth roller, apply one coat on, and let it set and dry for about 3 days, and you'll be ready to go. Now the surface, once it's dry and cured, it's a moisture-resistant surface. It's going to have a little bit of a satin sheen to it, which is really nice. And another nice thing about it is you can tint it into 16 different colors to help transform the decor of any room, say like your kitchen or your bath. So adding a coat of paint sure beats tearing out all of those countertops and incurring the cost of that.
This week we're following an historic project, the relocation of baseball legend Hank Aaron's childhood home to the ballpark that now bears his name. The house is being renovated to serve as a museum and tribute to his accomplishments. Besides giving us a front row seat to history in the making, this project has also given us the chance to meet one of the great icons of baseball. Behind all the trophies and titles is a genuinely nice man, a sentiment that was echoed again and again during the dedication ceremony at the project's completion.
He's become an American icon because of the way he's conducted himself, in every way, shape, form, or manner. Every athlete who plays the game today or in the future should take a look at Henry Aaron. People like this make you proud to be the commissioner of baseball.
The rest of the guest list for the event read like the who's who of Major League Baseball, with fellow Hall of Famers like Ozzie Smith.
I admire him for the man that he is and the integrity. He's been very exemplary of what baseball should be.
Reggie Jackson.
I don't really need to say very much about Henry Aaron's ability as a baseball player. When you look at the numbers that he piled up, I'm here because Henry Aaron is a man that I admire.
Willie Mays and others on hand to honor Hank and tour the museum. Fans followed suit too, lining up to see the exhibit and the ball game that followed the festivities. Early the next day, we got a chance to tour the house and get Hank's reaction to it. Well, Hank, I know this whole entire house is just completely full of memories for you. The kitchen, I imagine, a lot of memories here. Does it make you think about your mom's cooking a little bit?
It does, and I'm wondering how 8 kids got to I think we came in shifts, really. I don't know, but we made out. It was a very comfortable area. You know, it was small. It had so much love in the house.
Well, I know the original house was only 24 by 24, back wall of the house. Tell me a little bit about how you and your father and your brothers and everything made it a little bit bigger than it was originally.
You know, I wasn't a carpenter. My father wasn't, nor my brother. But you know, we did everything. In fact, my father worked at the Alabama Dry Dock and Shipbuilding Company, and he worked from 8 to 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And when he got home, he had given me instructions that I needed to straighten out nails, take the putter out of the bricks and stuff like that. So, you know, when we got home, you know, he did a little bit of things, you know, that he could do because he was the man of the house. And I did a little bit of things that I could do, which was nothing. And my brother did just about the same thing. Each year we tried to do some things that was nice. My mother enjoyed it because it was her house. And she manage it the way she wanted to.
Probably with a pretty stern
yes,
arm
there. She was very stern, yes.
Like I say, everything about your family life now and then was just tremendous, and of course you had a fantastic career. How does it feel for all of that to kind of all of a sudden be in the same place?
I'm very proud, and the reason, I guess, is because The fact that, aside from Satchel Paige, I was the first one to come from Mobile to get to the big leagues. And I'm very proud, you know, and looking at all these things. And the home itself, you know, is going to bring back memories because of the fact that it's not only these plaques and trophies in here, but it's really hard work.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just can't. It's 23 years of hard work, you know, and I just want all of the kids in Mobile, all of them, black, white, purples, whatever color they may be, is to understand that there is no shortcut in life.
Right.
I mean, when you start thinking that there is shortcuts, that's when you get in trouble.
Right.
And the most important thing is to take one step at a time.
Well, I believe
and if you
in
do
that.
that, if you do that, you're going to be successful.
Well, boy, last night though, Hank, here you were with your longtime friend, baseball commissioner Bud Selleck, and then all of these Hall of Famers, and then, man, they were enthusiastic to be here. They were so happy for you that this came together and so deserving of it. That was pretty special last night.
It was very special to have all of them come here and pay tribute to me, and they come here because they could have been doing most anything.
Right, that's
and
right.
to have them, the commissioner who is the baseball season that just started.
Oh, yeah.
And to have him to come here and all of the Hall of Famers to come here and pay tribute. And you know, they invaded our city.
They sure did.
But we welcome them. You know,
absolutely.
we love to have them here. And it was a great moment for everybody, you know, really. It was a great moment for me, great moment for the city of Mobile.
Absolutely.
Great moment for the BayBears. It was just it was an exciting time.
Well, Hank, you're a busy, busy guy. Thanks so much for reminiscing with me a little bit around your home.
Thank you very much. And thanks to all the people in Mobile. Thank you very much.
This is one of the simplest physics tests in the world. Air pressure pushes down on the water in the bottle and forces it out of the hole. But seal the gap and no more leak. The same principle applies to your home's energy efficiency. Seal the gaps and no more leaks. The best thing you can do is have a professional conduct a blower door test on your home. This involves a large fan temporarily mounted in an exterior door frame. The fan pulls the air out of the house, which lowers the air pressure inside. The higher outside air pressure forces its way into every unsealed gap. The pro can then find these gaps by using a smoke pencil. Once you know exactly where the gaps are, it's a simple matter of sealing them up. Now, most of these tests can cost $200 to $300, but you'll recoup that money easily as you save every month on your energy bills. Our project this week to relocate and renovate the childhood home of baseball great Hank Aaron has been a huge success. The house now sits alongside the minor league park that bears Hank's name, where thousands will be able to experience the history of baseball through his career. We want to thank the Aaron family and the management of the Mobile BayBears for pulling this all together and inviting us along for the ride. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. A little bit of a different kind of today's homeowner show, but if you're a baseball fan and a home improvement fan, we had it all for you.
Now, we also learned that Mr. Hank was not only a fan of baseball, but he was a fan of the community, and he proved it by sharing this wonderful memory with all of us.
What we learned from the Hall of Famers who came here to honor Hank is that his legacy extends way beyond the baseball diamond, starting with this humble home that Henry helped his dad build.
Now, if you're anywhere near Mobile, Alabama, you have to drop by the Hank Aaron Museum and take a look for yourself. Hey guys, I wonder if they'll let us back out on the field over here.
That's right.
What's on the horizon for your home in the coming year? Find out next week as we scope out the International Builder Show.
Coming at you.
Those bring back old days. I used to throw that overhand thing and barrel it in.